Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His word. And family, I seriously want to thank y'all. Thank you for being here this week with the royal family. Y'all could have been anywhere else, doing anything else, but you chose to be right here. And for that, I want to extend my deepest thanks. Thank you so much for being right here with the family. And of course, y'all already know we cannot go without saying this. I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, magnificent Sabbath. And once again, thank you for bringing us in with your brother this week. And as you can probably tell, things are a little different. So every once in a while, we got to step the game up. So I got a new camera and I'm testing it out, and it was an absolute pain in the ass trying to get the black background synchronized with the lights and everything. So I said, you know what? We're just going to go gray. I'll figure it out throughout the week. Okay. So hopefully by next week, we are back in black. Now, family, specifically queens and princesses. Queen Tanya will be continuing her modesty lesson. But this one here, the title is Modesty Dethroning the Thought. Now, just the title alone says enough. So I am asking our queens and our princesses to please continue to support Queen Tanya. Her link is going to be in the comment section. Is going to be pinned to the top right along with King Porter and also King Marcus. And this is our family. And family, I'm asking you to please support our family. Please go and subscribe. Please go take a look at their lessons because they are awesome, wonderful, magnificent lessons. So please support our family. And speaking about supporting our family, as y'all already know, I always get so giddy and I get so hyped when it comes to us supporting the absolutely musically talented. And y'all know I love showing our brothers and our sisters when we get some of the sisters to actually do something. But tonight, one of our kings, King Zazmora, is going to be bringing to you the banger. So without any further ado, family, please, King Zazmora.
It couldn't possibly be a man like me could become a voice when it comes to these streets. They didn't leave me no choice to go out and preach, to put out a fire that was caused by MAliss. I hope you're tuning in. A little static, but it's still clear. Just look around, the message everywhere. Beware. The devil trying to make a full appearance. I look to heavens for my words again, my prayers. This message not gonna be for everyone. It's for the woke and all the chosen ones, for real. The fully vaccinated ain't no saving them. They chose the world and they gon' burn with him, for real. Amongst the living trying to make a difference. On my knees asking for repentance to live. We in a battle and it's unrelenting. I gotta cut them with the holy scriptures to win. Revelations 8 and 8. We in the second trumpet, y'all, the flood is on its way. The news ain't gonna tell it, y'all, you know the news is fake. The Palma is on fire, y'all, it's breaking off its place. Better vacate, been having dreams about the unliving. Running around, eating friends and family, for real. It's not a game, y'all better pay attention. Was only safe when the sun has risen. Cold chills. It couldn't possibly be a man like me could become a voice when it comes to these streets. They didn't leave me no choice to go out and preach, to put out a fire that was caused by MAliss. I hope you're tuning in. A little static, but it's still clear. Just look around, the message everywhere. Beware. The devil trying to make a full appearance. I look to heavens for my words again, my prayers.
As I tell y'all all the time, family. Woo! As I tell y'all all the time. Yo, our kings don't play. And of course, you can find King Zazmora. His link is also in the comment section as well. So please go and support our King on YouTube, and he has more fire on his channel as well. So King Zazmora, I thank you so much, brother, for sharing that with us. Sisters, where y'all at? Where y'all at with the... Come on now, stop playing. Y'all need to stop playing. Where is all of our sisters that know how to sing? Not even sing. That know how to throw down, who know how to work the God-given musical pipeline that he gave you. And let me tell you something, please don't submit the shower songs. Don't do that. I want our sisters to straight up show their talents right here with us so we can see it. Please, queens, princesses, come on. Y'all know how to use the acoustics in your house. Y'all know how that bathroom echo and all that stuff. No, we don't want the shower songs, but you know where you need to go in the house so the reverberation can sound like a concert hall. Y'all know how to do. Come on, queens, what's up? Come on. I'm ready to showcase you, okay? So now, getting into this lesson. Getting into this lesson. The end. What comes after? So we are going to be reading from Revelation chapter 21. Now, this is going to be one of those lessons where we will be reading a verse, and then we're going to be backing things up with precepts. So, of course, family, please open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. And of course, you know, when I always do one of these lessons, I want you to please go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 31. And for those of you that walk right beside me in this truth, you know every time that we come out with this, that is going to be one of them lessons. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. And I always like to announce that at the beginning to let y'all know that, yes, we will be bringing precepts along with everything that I say so that you understand fully and completely that I am not giving my opinion about any of this. I'm going to go into the scriptures and I'm going to show you where the Father said these things, not only in the current time, but also in the past. That's why he gave us these precepts. Remember, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. And there's going to be so many people that get mad tonight. I don't give a damn. That's your business. Don't get mad at me. If you got any problems with what's in this book, you take it up with the Father. Revelation chapter 21. All right, we're starting at verse 1. We're going to read the whole chapter all the way down. Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And we got to break that down here for a second, don't we, family? The earth is passed away, meaning died, and heaven has also died. A recreation. Now, is it going to be the same earth? What's it say here? And there was no more sea. Now we know on this damn planet there is a sea, right? Well, the sea's not going to be anymore. It's going to be done away with. Why? What's going to happen? So, of course, this is one of the first precepts that we're going to go to. I want you to please go to 2 Peter in chapter 3. We'll come back. 2 Peter in chapter 3. We're going to find out. Go down to verse 10, please. 2 Peter chapter 3, go down to verse 10. Let's find out what happens and why there's going to be a new earth and a new heaven and no more sea. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. The day of the Lord That's the day that the Father sends Christ and the angels back in them chariots. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, that boom, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. That's what the Bible said. Not my opinion. But them chariots are coming. That boom that I always talk about when I say when the boom comes and that sky cracks open and them chariots come through and is being led by Christ, Yahweh Shai, or whichever way that you prefer to address him. And that fire is going to be coming from the chariots, and it is going to be destroying this earth. It is going to be destroying all the inhabitants of it that are unrighteous. All right, so now let's go back to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 1. Okay, let's see. Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. Now that you got the precept and the understanding, and here it is. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Why? Because how does water evaporate? It evaporates with heat. Y'all got to understand just how hot this earth is going to get. It's going to get so hot from the fire that's coming from the chariots that is going to evaporate the seas. Verse 2. And I, John, stop. What John? John the Revelator, our ancestor. John the Revelator, not John the Baptist, but John the Revelator, who we all know that the Father put him in a spiritual sense and took him on a journey. And it's not fake. It wasn't a dream. He put him in the spirit world so that his body defied the laws that the Father set on earth and sent him all over to see everything that was going on. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, because remember, the old one is gone, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Now, y'all understand that. Y'all get that. Y'all know how brides love to look on their wedding day. Absolutely beautiful. And for the kings that really want to get married and he loves his woman, he's like, I can't wait to marry this woman, right? He knows how he feels when he sees his bride. So beautiful. But I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this woman right here. But in this particular sense, he's speaking about Israel. We are that bride. Verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Now, of course, y'all know we have talked about this many times, but there are some new family members that are not very familiar with this. So that's why I always like to go back and show these precepts and even a review for many of you. So I want you to now please go to Exodus chapter 29 and verse 45, please. Oh, we're going all the way back. Exodus chapter 29 and verse 45. Now we all know about the book of Exodus. This is when the Father said, I'm taking my people up out of Egypt. My people, the Israelites. And you're going to see that those people have never changed. Nor has the Father ever said, okay, well, I'm going to incorporate these other nations into it as well. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Not yet. We'll get there. All right. Exodus chapter 29 and verse 45. And I will dwell, same word, among the children of Israel and will be their God. Simple precept, right? Boom. Now I want you to go to Ezekiel. And we're going to be dealing with Ezekiel a little bit here today too. Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 11, please. Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 11. Here we go. That the house of Israel, may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted. I want you to understand, remember that word, planted, polluted, anymore with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their God, saith the Lord. Saith the Lord, meaning that's final. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. I said it. I declared it. It's going to happen. Okay? So now that we got that, you understand it. We don't got to read it again because you guys are intelligent. You got it. Now we're going to go down to verse 4. And God, I need y'all to please pay attention. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Speaking about the children of Israel. And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So not only is the earth passed away, not only is heaven passed away, but the Father named these things here specifically. Now, it's talking about the last days now. Okay, it's talking about all this time. So what is he talking about? Because this right here goes over so many people's heads. What is the Father talking about? What is he saying? So do you know that there is a 1/3 and then there is a 2/3, right? So the 1/3 this is speaking about right here. No more tears. I'm going to wipe them all away. No more pain, no more sorrow. Well, why the tears and all the sorrow if everything is going so great? Because over here, they have loved ones in this 2/3 that did not want to listen, that did not want to obey, that did not want to comply, that took the Father as a joke, that did not follow the commandments. And they're over here. And what was coming from the chariots? Fire. They're burning in outer darkness, the weeping and gnashing of teeth that was promised by Christ, Yahushua, that was promised. And they're over here burning, yelling, screaming in pain, the gnashing of teeth. But over here with the 1/3, they're going to be watching all that. They'll be able to see everything, but they won't be able to feel a damn thing. Why? Because the Father took away their tears, their sorrow. That's the one right there. Sorrow. Took away their sorrow, meaning I can't feel bad for you. I can't feel bad for you. I don't have it in me. Why? Because the Father removed my pain. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to tell you. That's going to be a cold ass day. With all that heat, I'm trying to tell you, that is going to be a crazy, crazy day. Because do you know who's going to be in that fire? Your mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, children, husband, wives, friends. They're going to be in that fire. That is why it is so important for you to be an example. Bring these scriptures out. And we'll get into that in a second. All right. So now let's go to verse 5. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I will make all things new. All, A-L-L. I will make all things new. Hold on. Let me go back to, I want to read this one more time. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, talking to John, for these words are true and faithful. That's what made me want to stop right there because I read ahead of myself. He said, true and faithful. So what I'm telling you is truth and it's faithful, meaning I'm God. I can't lie. So it's damn sure true and it's faithful. Verse 6. And he said unto me, it is done. Why? Because he said it. I am Alpha and Omega. And here's the Father letting you know, I am Alpha and Omega. I'm the beginning and the end. The beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. Now, athirst. Of course, y'all already know I love definitions. Let's get the definition of athirst, because that is not an everyday term. Athirst. What does that term athirst mean? Now, some people just believe that it just means thirsty. No. Oh, no, there's so much more that it means. Now, this is according to the KJV dictionary definition. Athirst. First one, thirsty, wanting drink. Okay, so let me ask y'all a question. You know when it's really, really hot and dry outside, right? And you've been more, we can really think about this more when we were kids. Remember, you used to be running around as kids or whatnot, and you go in the house and you all huffing and puffing and your mouth is all dry, and you just go up there and you go straight for the water, right? Not even a Kool-Aid, none of that. You go straight for the water. You want some water. That's a thirst. But here's the second definition. Having a keen appetite or desire. The want. That's the one right there I want to focus on. The desire, the want for knowledge in this book, which means outside of our lessons here, it means you got to actually pick up the book and start reading it. Plant your face in that book. Read. Study to read. Remember, study to show thyself approved. It matters whether or not you get in this scripture outside of the Sabbath lessons. It does. Y'all got to understand that. Okay? Let's go back. All right, so we read that. So now we're going to jump down to verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things. Now remember, all these things are new. All things. And I will be his God, and he shall be my son. Now remember, that's speaking in male-female vernacular, because it's not only going to be men in heaven. Verse 8. But the fearful, and I want y'all to pay attention to this, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, we'll come back to that in a second, and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death, the second one. That second death, meaning the final one. Because if you were not resurrected in the first one, you done. That second one there. Now, it mentioned abominable. Remember that? We're going to talk about abominable several times here tonight. So, I want you to go to Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. We'll come back to this. Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. And I already know, so many of you sisters unrolled your eyes. And guess what? I'm going to roll mine too on that day when I feel no sorrow for your simple asses that just won't keep the commandments. So I'm going to read it again. I'm going to make sure I bury my foot off and break it in your ass when it comes to this particular one right here, because there's so many sisters that love to argue this. No matter how often, how many precepts, how much proof we bring, there's always some idiotic, stupid, dumbass sister that always want to rebut this particular one right here. And here it is. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. I didn't say it, the Father said it. He said, you are an abomination every time you wear them damn pants. Every time. He said, you can't. But a sister that practices the religion of me will always have a rebuttal. Oh, these are female pants. There's no such thing. No, that doesn't only go for our sisters, but this goes for some of those sissy ass brothers out there that wear stockings up under their pants and silk pink panties. It happens. It happens. They get in their house, they put on bras and dresses and all that stuff. It happens. And the Father said, you are an abomination to him. An abomination. So let's go back. And let's see what's going to happen there. So Revelation chapter 21, let's go down to verse 8. We're going to read that one more time. But the fearful, meaning cowards, and those that don't want to keep the commandments, and the unbelieving, those that don't believe this Bible, and the abominable, right there. You're going to have your place in that fire. You just had to show you. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21, prove all things. You're welcome. Verse 9, and there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, meaning Corona that's not it. We're not done. And talked with me, saying, come hither, I will shew thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. Verse 10, and he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and shewed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven of God. So now let's talk about this here for a second. So this angel, as it said, took John and carried him away in the spirit. In the spirit. Meaning that there's a spirit inside your body. We talked about this last week. Right here inside your body. And that can be transported. A lot of times when you think you're dreaming, you're not. You think the Father just stopped dealing with his sons and his daughters when he's trying to show you something? All right. Verse 11. Having the glory of God, talking about the bride, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high. Now it's talking about New Jerusalem. And had 12 gates. Stop. 12 gates. Now, family, let me ask you a question. Why in the world would there be 12 gates? Well, let's find out. And at the gates, 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. I wonder why. Why did the Father say, I'm going to take the names of the 12 tribes of Israel and put them on all the entrances? Why? Because they're the only people that can get into that kingdom. They are the only people that are able to go through those entrances. The only ones. Now, mind you, remember, this is not the whole world. This is just that city, a city that only we can get into. Just us. Just us. Verse 13. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. The names. So now, I want to double back to verse 11. Having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Now, we talked about stones and jewels and everything before. That's what this is explaining. So now I want you to please go to Malachi chapter 3 and verse 17. Malachi chapter 3 and verse 17. Let's see if there's a comparison with this here, because I'm going to make a point. And they shall be mine. Now, we talked about that already. Who's that talking about? That's talking about Israel. Saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. So now, as we're reading in Revelation chapter 21, verse 11, the Father is now talking about these stones and these jewels, right? So now the Father said right here in Malachi chapter 3, in that day, what day? The last days, that day in the end. So Malachi is talking about the future. Why? Because Malachi was a prophet and he saw these things too. So that was that one. Now I want you to go to Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 16, please. The book of Zechariah chapter 9, go down to verse 16, please. Let's see if this particular prophet, that is our ancestor, saying the same thing. Let's see. And the Lord, their God, shall save them in that day as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown lifted up as an ensign upon his land. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute now. So again, one of our ancestors that saw the future, a prophet, is talking about that last day. Now, remember, the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about Esdras. Esdras saw the brutality. But also our prophets, they saw the paradise. Let's go back. Revelation chapter 21, verse, I want to read, as a matter of fact, let's go on to verse, no. I want to do it again. I want to read verse 12. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. Verse 14, and the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So as you see, this is all being set up numerically. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the 12 apostles, meaning the disciples, all you have to do is go to Matthew 10 and read chapter 2 through, not chapter, but verse 2 through 4, and it gives you everybody. Okay? Verse 15. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, a golden reed. So think of it as measuring tape, but as a rod. Read that again. And he that talked with me, speaking of the angel, had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. Now it's going to get deep now. Watch this. And the city lieth foursquare. It's telling the Father's giving you all the dimensions. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. Okay? The length is just as long as the breadth of it. So if you're not putting this together, if it's not registering for you, it's an equal leveled city. And you'll find out, you'll see here in a second. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. Now, 12,000 furlongs. Wait a second now. How many tribes were there? How many tribes, family? How many tribes? 12. So you see what the Father's doing, right? He's building a city based on his people, as he promised. You're going to see. Watch. All right, I'm going to read 16 one more time. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. I told y'all in a lesson before, that the 1/3 is going to be equal. We've had several lessons about this. And you're going to see just how the Father continues to treat this. Watch this. Verse 17. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits. That's divisible by 12. 144, which is the 144,000 men that will be going to go fight with the Most High in the chariots. That 144,000 strong kings and princes, that is what we should be striving for every day, to be a part of that, to be a part of that 144. Verse 17, I'm going to read it one more time. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man. You see how he is dividing the city equally so that it can be measured to a man. Like that's male, female vernacular again. He's dividing the city into equal parts for each person. That is of the angel. Verse 18, and the building of the wall of it was jasper. Here he goes again. Jasper, and the city was pure gold like unto clear glass. Now, I need y'all to understand something when the Father is talking about this gold. You know here how gold is yellow and they have rose gold, they have all these different things. What does the Bible say about the color of gold? Real gold is clear. Remember, the streets are paved with it. And even the description then, the Father said, it's like clear glass, transparent, real gold, not the element that's here. All right, verse 18, one more time. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold like unto clear glass. Verse 19, and the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper. Now he's calling them off. Roll call of the jewels. The second, sapphire. The third, chalcedony. The fourth, an emerald. The fifth, a sardonyx, the sixth, a sardius, the seventh, a chrysolite, the eighth, beryl, the ninth, topaz, the 10th, chrysoprasus, the 11th, a jacinth, the 12th, an amethyst. So the Father is so descriptive, he breaks everything down so that there is absolutely no room for any failure whatsoever. Now, we're his jewels, right? In a city that is full of jewels, where we will be walking on jewels. So can you understand just how beautiful this city is going to be? Can you understand outside of them gates, the remnant of the nations that was left over to serve you eternally, knowing eternally that they cannot ever walk foot into that city? I don't want to get ahead of myself though, but I had to bring that out. All right, where are we? Verse 21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. Why does the Father continue? Why does he continue to mention that all throughout this chapter? Do you know how our people will rob each other for gold? Make crosses, sacrilegious ass crosses out of gold. The Father said that ain't gold. Niggas are silly, boy. Niggas are silly. Verse 22, and I saw no temple therein, For the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. Woo! Oh my goodness gracious. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. How crazy is that? That beautiful bling. And you want to talk about bling? Telling you. That city is nothing like we can't even imagine. Our brain cannot fathom what that is going to look like. Now, these apostles, these prophets, the ones that were given a privilege, they saw that. But what did the Father tell them? He said, shut your mouth. Don't you say nothing about this. Don't you go down there trying to describe anything. You shut your damn mouth. Verse 23. Well, we just read that one. Verse 24. And here we go. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. Now, that is the one verse that so many of these disrespectful, disobedient, unaccepting of the truth people, that includes some Israel, and that includes all the other nations. And they sit there and try to say, you see, all nations will be able to get into the kingdom. Wrong. The survey says, bull. Now, I want you to go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. I'm going to show you why it says nations right there. Deuteronomy chapter 4, go down to verse 27, please. Here it is. This is simple. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. Because remember, in the last days, we are going to be pulled from out of the nations. That is why it says that, because we were scattered. So simple. But you got these niggas up in here that will sit there and try to convince you otherwise. Like, you fool. Now I'm going to read that one more time. And the nations of them which are saved. Now that's the next thing there. Because there's some of you that's still in doubt. Still in doubt. But it clearly says saved. Saved. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth, that's you kings, you, the kings of the earth, man, do bring their glory and honor into it. So now, family, we've been over this so many times. Who are the only people on this planet that can be saved? Oh, we're not going to talk about my opinion. I want you to please go to Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. So many of you should already be familiar with this if you walk with me in this truth, because I say it often. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. So let's just see what the Bible has to say. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation forever. This is talking about the last days, the end, the finality. When the last chariot has shot the last fire. Talk about what comes after that. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. That is the very same world that references John 3:16. When you read the whole chapter of John 3, it's between two people. It's between Christ and Nicodemus. And Nicodemus is an Israelite. And Christ is talking to his family about what's going to happen in that world. And that's why Christ referenced the Old Testament in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. Dumb niggas try to get everybody to come into the kingdom. Have no self-respect for their damn self. So now that was Old Testament. Now let's go to New Testament. Let's go to Paul. Let's see if Paul is on the same accord with this. So I want you to please go to Romans chapter 11, verse 26. Romans chapter 11, verse 26. Let's see what Paul has to say about this, brother Paul. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. As it is written. So what is he talking about? He's talking about from the prophets, speaking of Isaiah. There shall come out of Sion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Now it's talking about Christ. He said, as it is written, going back and referencing his ancestors, those prophets. So family, who's going to be saved? Israel is going to be saved. Damn it. I keep going over this. Let me stop. Yeah, I have no idea the stuff that I deal with. Verse 25. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. Why did it say this, family? Why did it say this? Why did it say that the gates will not be shut? Because it's giving you access to the city and also the rest of the world. You see, so many people don't discuss that. They think that we are just going to remain in this city the whole time. No! God said, I created a new heaven and a new earth. So when you leave the gates, there's all the rest of that vast, all things new world that the Father made for you, that the Father made for you, that the Father made for you, king, queen, prince, and princess. For you. Vast land, all new, beautiful. If our city looks like that, can you imagine what the rest of the world looks like? Can you seriously imagine just what God has done with everything? When you look at some of the spectacles right here on this earth, and you look at that, you'd be like, oh my gosh, breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. The clear crystal water, the fish, the birds, the foliage. And I don't give a damn how thug of a nigga you think you are. When you see something like that, it stops you in your tracks. And you have no choice but to sit there and give the most highest praise for making something like that. So if that will happen on this earth, can you imagine a brand new one, what he's going to do? You know, he's going to show out. Oh my goodness gracious. Verse 26, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. We were scattered all over, just like the curses of Deuteronomy said. Just like it. And some people try to say, well, they're going to bring in the things that the nation's taken from us. That's not true. Because what did we read here tonight? The Father said all new things. So what are you bringing into the kingdom? You're bringing your righteousness, that glory, that same light that shines with the very same frequency as the Son and the Father. How in the world can you bring glory into a place that's already lit? You have to be able to match that light frequency. Anybody that knows anything about lumens know exactly what I'm talking about. If you understand the way that lumens work, as a matter of fact, let's get a little technical here. If you understand exactly how lumens work, right? For those of you who are educated with lasers and things like that, right? because that technology is used on scan guns. What happens if the frequency of the lights above overpowers the frequency of the laser from the scan gun? What happens? The scan gun won't work because it is being overpowered by the lumens that is coming from the lights above and its surrounding areas. It won't work. Just like when the Father says there cannot be any unrighteousness that goes with righteousness. There cannot be any darkness if there's a light that's emanating. Simple. Everything that the Father says we use in what we like to call science, in what we like to call technology. You can't get away from the Bible. You can't. Niggas have tried, but can't. Okay? So now, let's take a look at this here. I want to go somewhere, actually. And you know why? Because our forefathers, let me say this here. Our forefathers completely understood everything that was going to happen in the end. They had it. They had that knowledge. They knew what was going to happen. They saw it, and they dealt with it as best as they could to try to get our people to understand just how foolish we're being, just how disobedient, just how disrespectful. And that's why our ancestor prophets and disciples, that's why they lost their life and they died in this truth, trying to get our people to get right because they saw everything that was coming. Esdras wasn't the only person that saw that. They all saw it. And they tried to get us right. But do you know what happened? Slavery happened. Because our forefathers, they knew their heritage. But when slavery came and we had to endure that, our heritage was removed. That is the disconnect between us and our forefathers and foremothers. Slavery. That gap. So I want to show y'all something. Please, I want you to go to Psalms, the book of Psalms, chapter 79. The book of Psalms, chapter 79. I'm going to show you. I can run my mouth all day, but I'm not going to. Watch this, family. Watch this. Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. He talk about these other nations. For they have devoured Jacob and laid waste his dwelling place. Oh, remember not against us former iniquities. Let thy tender mercy speedily prevent us, for we are brought very low. Help us, O God of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us, not the whole world. Hey, what did we talk about here earlier today? We talked about Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. We talked about Romans 11, and it says that we are the only ones, Israel, that is going to be saved. Help us, O God of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us from what? Our enemies. And purge away our sins for thy name's sake. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is their God? And you ain't know who that is. That's damn Esau. Let him be known among the heathen in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants, which is shed. Woo! Bring it, baby. Our ancestors, they saw everything that was going to go down. They said, Father, do away with them. Now I'm going to ask y'all a question because this is for the silly ass right here. So these very people that has done all these horrible atrocities to the Israelites, right? To our people, our forefathers and foremothers. You really think for 1 second that the Father's going to let them into the kingdom? Do you really think for 1 second that the Father was like, all right, yeah, y'all did all that, all right, but guess what? I'll forgive you. Come on, y'all got to worry about that. Do you know what I equate that to? And it's pretty graphic, but sometimes it takes graphic examples to get you to really start your noodle going, right? Imagine this. You have a newborn child, newborn, healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes, full of life, full of beautiful smiles, right? Imagine somebody from the other nations is coming, breaking your home, and violently and viciously murder that child. Come on now. Come on now, family. We are God's Jews, his babies. His. Are you seriously going to tell me that you're not going to have a thirst to see a revenging on them? Now, remember, the Father said, your vengeance is mine. I'm not telling y'all to go out there and go do nothing crazy. The Father said, vengeance is mine. So I'll deal with that. Don't worry. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to deal with the people that murdered you. Mentally and physically. And most importantly, spiritually. I'm going to murder them. The Father said, I'm going to do away with them. But first, before they go, they have to endure exactly what they did to you. They got to feel it. And when it's all over those 1,000 years that they have to endure hard bondage slavery, then I'm going to kick their ass out of existence. The Father said, vengeance is mine. Leave it to him. Okay? One more. I want you to go now to Ezekiel chapter 29, please. Ezekiel chapter 29. And I want, 39. Go to 39. 39. And I want you to go down to verse 23, please. I'm going to read this here. Then we're going to close this up. And the heathen, talk about the other nations, shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, which they do, because they trespassed against me. Therefore, hid I my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword, that murder that we just talked about, according to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them and hid my face from them. The Father said, it's your fault that all of this is happening to you. I gave y'all one instruction, keep my damn commandments, and you didn't. So being that you didn't, being that y'all want to be little stiff-necked, hard-headed asses, I'm going to let them whoop y'all ass. Verse 25. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel and will be jealous for my holy name. After that, they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land and none made them afraid. What did the Father say here? The Father said, first of all, I'm going to avenge you and I'm going to remove you from your captivity. And then I'm going to take my babies. I'm going to take each and every last one of you righteous 1/3. I'm going to take you. I'm going to put you in your own place. I'm going to pick you up from here and I'm going to put you over here. You know what that is? That is the new Jerusalem. That is the brand new city, the brand new thing of all things that the Father had already promised his children. As we read in Revelation, I'm trying to show you that Ezekiel and all of the prophets understood what was going to happen in the end. That is why they all say the very same thing. Verse 27, when I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. The Father said, I'm going to take my babies. And I want y'all to understand this. The Father said, I'm going to take my babies. I'm going to elevate y'all. And the whole world is going to see it. The entire world, the whole planet. And I am going to put you on spotlight. And they are going to know through you that I am God. I am the Almighty. I am the All-Powerful. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Y'all are my babies. I'm going to show you off the apple of my eye, my jewels. And then, watch the rest. Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen, but I have gathered them unto their own land, New Jerusalem, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them. For I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord. Bingo, done. Family, y'all learn something? Did you get that? Did you get it? That's what's happening in the end. That's it. And I think I'm probably going to probably do a follow-up. I want to read chapter 22. As a matter of fact, I'm going to. May have to get a little creative for next week, but we're going to read chapter 22 next week. God willing, we're going to read chapter 22 next week because got to get that follow-up, that finality, that final nail in the coffin for it. Okay? Israel. So glad, so glad that we was able to go ahead and bring this out. I'm telling you, after I read all that, sometimes I can't even go to sleep. I'm not even playing. Sometimes I can't even lay my head down when we come across this because it's like, man, seriously? Oh, Father, thank you so God. Thank you for making me who I am. Thank you, God, for not making me Esau or anybody in these other nations. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you see that, you look at slavery with a whole different eye. You know, there's a pride that's in there. That's like, thank you, Father. I get to I get to hear all these stories and watch all these things about my people that have persevered through all of this. Y'all tried to kill them, but you couldn't. And now here you are having us here in all this mental slavery and in the absolute bowels of society, and still we soldier on. And as we are in these bowels of society, y'all still copy us because we are that damn fly. That's right. You're mad at me. The Father said all this. I ain't say it. You read it for yourself tonight. You have every reason to be proud. Every reason in the world to be proud of your beautiful black skin, whether you light skin, dark skin, whether you have kinky hair, it don't matter. You got the hair of the Most High. You got the hair of Christ. And here you got some of these damn sisters putting that blonde and all that crap in their hair. You heard what the Father said, do not envy thou damn oppressor. Don't you do his ways. It's filth. Unbelievable. So family. All right. So next week, we're going to go ahead and read that 22:14. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know I'm going to do it some way. But either way, it's going to get done. And family, let me tell y'all something. I love y'all and I want y'all to have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sabbath. Enjoy it. Get around your families. Love them. Hug them. Get out there and spread that truth around to our people. Spread it to somebody that do not know who they are. Because remember, you are going to be judged if you don't. And with that being said, Israel, I'm out.